Hello friends, and welcome to binomial option pricing model evaluation. Today we are going to learn about multi-period binomial option pricing model, and with the help of one question we will be looking further into this and doing step-by-step process, so that in case any one of you have some confusion, so at least you can go back to the steps and can come up with the correct answers, are able to map yourself accordingly with whatever the content that I'm going to teach today. So binomial option pricing model is one of the method by which we value the options, and it goes without saying that you know the meaning of options, and by now you understand that there are two different types of option: put option and call option. So we will look into it, that what is the nature of the option, and where are we supposed to identify, which step will help us in identifying that is it a single period binomial model or a multi-period binomial model. So I would request you to follow the questions, that the question that I'm going to solve with you, and let's get started. Here in this question, if you get to see, our stock price is currently is $200 and is expected to go up by 8% up, that means, and or 6% down over each of the next 2 to 3 months period. Now here is one indication that you have got that the total time period of the contract is 6 months, but this 6 month is divided into 2 period, that is 3 month each. So 3 plus 3 will make together the 6 month. And how are we supposed to value this? We are supposed to follow the multi-period binomial option pricing model in it. Then the required information as given in the question is risk-free rate of return, and also we also happen to know that it is following a continuous compounding. So we will look into it, that what is this continuous compounding, what is RF, what is this percentage in terms of 8% and 6%. So the first step, we will go very slow in this, so that you may not omit any steps, you will not be finding any problems that you are not able to understand. So please just be with me. The first and foremost important step in solving such type of a question is to write down the required information, right? So we are going to just write down the required information. What is it? And let me just zoom out. So I'm going to write the required information. So I will write it as given information. So here in the question, the stock price is currently is $200. So I'm going to write this as $200, which is my spot rate, and is expected to go up. This means the upward trend is expected to be 8%, and downward trend as given in the question is 6%. Then the risk-free rate of return, that is the R, which is given in the question as 4%, and that too this is per annum. Now what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to value 6-month European call with strike price of 204. So strike price, which is denoted by letter K, I'm going to write this as 204, which is the strike price, and I am supposed to find out the value of call option. So the whole quest is to find out that what should be the correct value that I should be ready today. So what happens in binomial option pricing model, with all of these given information, you are trying to project the future outcome. You're trying to project the future cash flows. Based on that future cash flows, you are going to find out the value of the option, right? So value of the option. So this is what we call as first step. So our first step of Writing the given information is done. Moving on to the second part of it, that is your second step. The second step says create binomial tree. So create binomial tree. Here I need to create the binomial tree based on the given information. So I'll again go back to the question, and I just wanted to know how much is the price today, the spot rate I'm talking about. So I got to know from the question that it is, let me write this maybe a bit bold so that it's, yeah, that makes sense. This is the spot rate today. We also get to know that it is expected to go up by 8% and down by 6%. Now here, this is one of the assumption of the binomial, that there can be only two possibilities, either up or down, and nothing else other than that. So that's the basic assumption on which your binomial is based on. And likewise, we are going to exactly do the same thing. So this 200 in future may go to either upward or can come downward. And on a timeline, although this is a 6-month contract, but it is divided into 3-month period each, right? So I used to say I'm here and this is my 3-month period, right? This is here, it's my 3-month period. This is 3 months. So what will happen in 3 months? If the 200 is going to go up, right? So I'm basically doing 1 plus up. So this means 200 times 1.08, because it is going up by 8%. So basically I wanted to know that if it is going to go up by 8%, how much is my new price will be, the spot rate will be, right? And if I just do a bit of a calculation here, 200 times 1.08, it is going to give you 216. Or if it is going to come down, then this is the situation, 1 minus down, right? So this 200 times, and down is 6%, so this means, can I write 0.94 here? Yes, I can. So 200 times 0.94. So this will come as 188. So I'm going to put these two new spot rate after 3 months here as an upward trend, 216, downward trend 188. Put them into a block, right? So our 3-month period is over. Now what? I need to go further into it. Going further means my 3 month is over, but I have another 3 month as per the contract. This means from here to here, another 3 month, right? Another 3 month. So again, this will follow the same thing. So let's do the same thing here. So if 216 is expected to go up, this is this. Or if 216 is expected to go down, 0.94. You know 0.94, where did we got that? This is basically 1 minus downward trend. This means 1 minus 0.06. So that is going to give you 0.94, right? So let's see what is the new figure here. So 216 times 1.08, this is giving you figure 233, sorry. It is 233.28, and if this 216 down 0.94, this is going to give you 203.04, right? And we are going to write exactly the same thing here. So upward trend 233.28, downward trend 203.04. This is how it goes. And the same thing that we are going to do for 188, right? So I'm going to just delete all of these unwanted information. This is just for your information that how have we calculated all of these things. So 188. Now here, this is one such question where the in 3 months period or in another 3-month period, the upward and a downward trend is same. So if you just recall in the question, it says that the 200 is going to go up by 8% and down by 6%. And again, from that 3 month to after another 6 months, so another 3-month period, this 216 is also going to go up by 8% and down by 6%. This is only in this question. However, in some of the questions you may come across, that's more tricky questions. In those questions you will come across that there are two separate the upward and a downward percentage. So for 3 months this is different, for another 3 months that's different. So luckily in this question it is same. So when it is same, usually if you are going to do the upward trend for say 188, right, upward trend, sorry, so upward trend for 188, you are going to get this figure only. You can just cross verify also. What do I mean? I mean to say that 188 multiplied by 1.08 is going to give you answer of 203.04 only, right? Because there's the same percentage that we are using. So we are not calculating that one because it's the same thing. However, for the second one, we need to calculate that if 188 comes down by 6%, right? So 188 times 0.94. So we got the answer as 176.72, right? So what a question is this, that what is this 233.28, 203.04 or 176.72? This is the projected spot rate after 6 months based on the given information, which is 8% and 6%. So we keep on branching out our tree in such a way so that whatever is the spot rate, we are just making it upward trend as 8% or putting it downward trend at 6% and hitting our new branches therein. Because it is a 2-period model, so we are going to stop here only, because now it's a decision time. What do I mean by decision? I mean to say that before you take a decision, you really need to look into it, that what is the type of the option that you are discussing in this question. So I'll take you back to the question, and if you remember what we have done, we have seen that it's a call option question. So if it is a call option question, try and recall from the basics of the derivatives, probably when we were discussing all about the options, that the types of options and the nature of the options. You may have come across that when will we exercise the contract, which is a call option. So just a small recap is a call option is a option which gives right to buy, right? And this option, right to buy, is with holder of that right. So whoever is the holder of right, he's going to say that if he is saying that he wanted to exercise the contract, the other party who is a writer of the contract is basically going to agree on that, right? So he can't say that no, I don't want, because he has no right. So whoever holds the right have the right to buy in call option, and the other party is an obligatory party, right? So when will you, suppose you are the one who is the holder of the call option, and think about a situation that when will you exercise it. So we have two components, one is spot rate and another one is K, which is the strike price. Now this strike price is fixed. So it is a unique price which is fixed in the contract, and the only thing that keeps on changing is the spot rate, and which is basically happening in this question also. Your 200, there is a possibility it may become 216 or it may become 188. Again, this 216 after 3 months, there is a chance that it may become 233.28 or it may become 203.04. And therefore, because of the change in the spot price, which is not under your control, right, your decision is being affected. So what do I mean to say? That suppose we are after 6 months, we have lot of possibility of the price, and we are going to start first with 233.28. Another price that you have is 203.04. Another possibility is 176.72, right? In all of these situations, because of the virtue of the contract, your spot rate, your strike price is fixed, right? Just wanted to show you, find out that how much is your strike price as given in the question. The strike price is 204. So we are going to write the same strike price here, 204, 204, 204. And you wanted to buy, right? So when will you buy? Think about this situation. When you check in market, the spot rate was 233. And if you're buying through a contract, think about it on this line. Suppose if you're supposed to buy something, the spot rate is 233, and then there is a lock-in price through a contract which is 204. And you have the option that you are going to exercise this contract only when it is in your favor. So think about the first, we are discussing the part A of it. That is it good for you to exercise this contract or not? So you're going to say definitely, because you're going to buy something through a contract, you're supposed to pay only 204. If you would have not entered into a contract, you are ending up paying 233.28, right? So you said that yes, I want to exercise. So usually what happens, when will you exercise the contract? You will always exercise the call option when your spot rate is more than your strike price. This is always the possibility, that if this is the probabilities of this, that it is likely to happen something like this, then only you are going to exercise. Think about the another situation. Spot rate 203, an odd figure, and strike price is 204. You'll say that why will you exercise? You will prefer not to exercise because the spot rate is less than your strike price. Absolutely true. Likewise here, your spot rate is less than your strike price, right? So you'll say that I don't want to exercise, not exercise, right? So you'll say not exercise, not exercise. Okay, and these are the three things that just now what we have discussed. So here, if you can just see that what all things that we have done with, and just now we have decided that we are going to exercise, right? And here you have decided you are not going to exercise, so you will let it go lapse. And this here also, it is going to get lapse. So I'll recap. The first one, from the given information, just jot down the question. Then we will move on to the second part of it, that you draw the binomial tree, and this is what we are done with. The third part, the third step is to take a decision. Whether are you going to exercise or are you not going to exercise? So in this question, what we have decided that it's only the first possibility when the spot rate will be 233.28, which is much higher than the strike price, then only there is a possibility that I'm going to exercise the contract. Now the fourth part of it. Okay, so first step, write down the given information. Second step, draw your binomial tree. Third step, take your decision. Fourth step, based on that decision, decide that how much is your payoff, right? So I'm going to decide about that, how much is my payoff here, right? So what I said, that if I need to exercise, I I will exercise my contract because it is 233.28. My strike price is 204, and if I'm going to exercise, I have the benefit. So how much is that payoff? That payoff is going to come as 29.28. So this is my payoff. Here lapse because you are not exercising. Here lapse because you are not exercising. So I'll again recap the first one, write down the given information. Second one, draw your binomial tree. Third one, take your decision that are you supposed to exercise or not. Fourth one, if you decided to exercise, what is your payoff? In this one, we are almost done with the fourth part of it, the fourth step of it. We are now going to move on to the fifth part. Fifth part is everything looks very great. Everything seems like super easy because I know that after 6 months, if I'm going to exercise, what is my payoff and whether I'll be exercising my contract or not. Everything is like very easy to understand. But what is the chances? What is the probability? Because everything here, what we are discussing is based on the likeliness of the event, whether this will happen or not, and my whole thing is based on the probability, the occurrence of an event, that whether the price will go up by 8% or will come down by 6%, whether the price will be 233.28 or not. So I wanted to calculate that probability also, which happens to be the next step in this binomial, right? So allow me to so just delete some of the unwanted information. So I'm going to just delete this one in this area because I just need some space to write. Okay, so this is done. Now when I just created this binomial tree, I also get to know about that what is my projected future cash flow. So this 29.29 is what I'm calling it as, and payoff is my projected future cash flow. That is completely dependent on the probability, that how much is the chance that it will go up by 8% or chance that it will come down by 6%, right? So we are supposed to calculate the probability out of it. Now how to calculate the probability? So let's see, how do we calculate the probability? So calculating the probability means I want to calculate probability, and there's a formula that ERT minus downward trend, this whole divided by upward trend and downward trend. Now sometimes a student will get confused that what is this upward and downward trend, and they take downward trend as 6% and upward trend as 8%, but I just wanted to make things very clear to you that when I say D, I mean to say 1 minus D, and when I say U, I mean to say 1 minus U. So I need that value, right? Also here I just wanted to inform you that in some of the books the calculation of the probability is done in this way, right, which is also correct. But if the question is specifically asking you that it's in continuous compounding, apply the continuous compounding, then you are supposed to use that ERT formula, that exponential rate and time formula, right? So I'm going to use the information. So my exponential, if you use scientific calculator, your exponential value is there, and if not, then you may use this exponential value as 2.1783, something of that sort. That value is there. Anyhow, we will be using the scientific calculator where you have that option of exponential, right? So you better use that and calculate and come up with the figure. Okay, so let's see that how do we do that. So I wrote exponential. What is the rate of return? The risk-free rate of return. Risk-free rate of return is 0.04. The time period. Now that's very important aspect. Very, very important aspect here, right? Because what does the time aspect means? That when we value through multi-period binomial tree, we usually follow the backward method. And what do I mean by backward method? I mean to say that this 29.28, I need to bring it back here because I wanted to know the value here. And in order to do so, you are having like periods, 3-month period and another 3-month period, right? Now, this is a question which talks about a European call option. And what happens in European call option, that the contract can only be exercised by the expiry of the contract. When the contract expires, then only you are going to exercise this contract, right? So for us it is very easy to take this 29.28 and then find out what is exactly the present value along with all of the probabilities that we are going to apply and give you the value at today, that is when the spot rate is 200. But I always suggest a student that no matter whether it is a European call option questions or American call option questions, your method should be uniform. There is a slight change what you tend to do when you are calculating the American option. That's the only thing that you have to keep in mind, and try not to juggle around with like European method and American method. There is only one way to solve this, and that's what exactly that we are doing it. And therefore always try and create the uniformity. So what do I mean by it? I mean to say that first and the foremost thing that I will be doing is bringing this 29.28, which is my payoff, this 29.28 here, right? First, whatever the value that it is going to come, then I will take that value here. So if I just zoom in and try to say use some other color, I'm going to rename, I'm going to give some sort of a node name to it, right? And let's see what is the node name. So I'm going to call this as node A, this as node B, this as node C, right? And you can have D, E and F, but that's okay, we don't want. So the first thing that I am supposed to do here is to calculate the value at node B. Okay, so calculating the value at node B. In order to calculate the value at node B, I should be knowing what is the probability, and that's what exactly we are doing now. So if you remember, this is the time period, and when I'm supposed to, when I'm moving back, I cannot move back all at a stretch because we just wanted to maintain a uniformity. So I am moving from future to up till this place, right? So that's only 3 months. So I wrote it as 3 months. Then minus the downward trend, and if you remember guys, I said downward means this. So 1 minus 0.06. Okay, so don't do that mistake of putting right directly 0.06. You are not supposed to do that. It is 0.94. And similarly here, when I say 1 u, I mean to say 1 plus u. So 1 plus 0.08. This is what I mean to say. So I wrote it as 1.08 minus 0.94. 0.94. And let's quickly calculate the value of this, that how much is the value that I am getting it here. Okay, so here I'm doing it all by basic steps, one by one. So if I solve exponential, I'm getting this. Then I have 0.94, 1.08 minus 0.94. So this is coming as 0.07005 divided by 0.14, right? And what's my answer? My answer came as 0.5003. You may say that it's 50-50, but let's see. I'm going with whatever the 4-digit number that we are having. So this is what, this is the probability of what? Upward trend. Okay. So probability of upward trend. Similarly, I need to calculate the probability at downward trend, and this is nothing. This is 1 minus PU, probability of upward trend. So here 1 minus 0.5003. Here after doing this, 1 minus 0.5003, I'm getting it as 0.4997. So we have calculated in our 6th step that what is the probability of upward and a downward trend, and we are going to use the same thing here. So I'm going to use the same thing here by writing this probability. Okay, so the probability is 0.5003 and downside it is 0.4997, right? And similarly here as well, because there is no, if you remember, there is no change in upward and downward trend, students. So that's how there is no change here as well. Sorry. So this is 0. I'm sorry for some of the technical problems. So here what we are saying, 0.5003, 0.5003, downside is 0.4997. Guys, please ignore 0. Right? Okay. So this is how it works. This is how it works on creating the binomial one, right? Okay. So now I'll again recap. The first one, write down the given information. The second one is to create the binomial tree. The third one, take your decision. Take your decision that are you supposed to exercise or not. Next one, if you decided to exercise, how much is your payoff? Next, you have to calculate the probability, that what is the probability. So we are done almost up till this part. Now again, what next? I need to know that how much is the value of this contract having all of these features as just now what we are discussing. So therefore I need the I need that what should be the value here. Value here means the value at node A, right? So I wanted to know that how much is the value here at node A. So I need to calculate the value at node A, and for calculating that I am supposed to do the backward method. So this means what I mean to say that 29.28 for sure, that this is what as per the projected payoff this will be there. This projected 29.28, I have to bring it to node B. Now people can ask you, in some of the books you may see that it is directly taking it and doing a square of the probabilities that is there. But we are not taking that path. Probably in my next or another video I will discuss that, friend. But there is a reason that why I wanted to maintain a uniformity in my calculation, because soon after this video I'll be posting a video for exactly probably on a same note, but we will be calculating the value of the American option, right? So that's how it is very important for all of you to be uniform, to have the uniform understanding in terms of the methodology that we are applying over it, right? So now this 29.28 after 6 months, I have to bring it back to 3 months, and then after again regressing it to another 3 months. So this means I am talking about somewhere that I'm going to bring this to node B, and I need to calculate some value. Whatever the value that will come, I will again take it back to node A, right? So allow me to delete some of the information, because I need some space to write, and I don't want to be away from this this binomial tree, right? So I guess if you guys have already written and or already with me in terms of the calculation, that what we are doing. Okay, so we are supposed to calculate the value at node B, and this value of node B is nothing, it's like whatever is the payoff my payoff times whatever is the probability, right? Probability. Which probability? Upward, plus payoff times probability. Which probability? Downward. This whole divided by, you have the exponential, so ERT. Some of the books you may see that it will be discounted by R, that is your risk-free rate of return with respect to the time. But because this question was specifically of continuous, so we are following this one. So what is the payoff? If you are going to exercise the contract, what is the payoff, right? So we have already calculated our payoff, which was 29.28. which was already 29.28 times, what is the probability? Probability of a upward trend you have already calculated, 0.003, right? Plus, what is the payoff? You'll say that there is no payoff because you're not exercising, and you can just verify. It is lapse. It is lapse. In downward trend, it is lapse. And there is no point writing this this 0, because it is anyhow there is a lapse, but I will suggest you to please follow this. So you will find this a difference in my another video, when I'll post that video also, that why I have deliberately asked you not to omit this payoff, although we know the answer. So there is no payoff, 0, and then there is a probability which is 0.499, sorry guys, 7. Okay, so I'll just let me just rewrite this a bit. So my payoff was 29.28 times my probability was 0.5003 plus there was no payoff times 0.4997, and then this will be divided by E 0.04 times, it's only for 3 months, because we are going back to node B. This is node B. Okay, so if you calculate how much is the value that you are going to get at node B, So it is almost 14.648 divided by 1.01005. So on the simpler terms, I can say that 14.50, this is the value at node B. And absolutely I'm going to use this and I'm going to write this here. So I'll go back to my binomial and I will write this as 14.50. Similarly, you are supposed to calculate the value at node C, but here in this question you can see that you are not at all exercising this contract. There is no payoff that is happening. You can see it is 0 and here also it's 0. So there is no point you are going to calculate the value at node C because it's of no use for you. So this means I can just simply use value at node B and to calculate the value at node A, right? So now what next? Next is that this 14.50, the value at node B, I will take it further back and which will help me in calculating the value of node A. And on what basis? Absolutely on the same way just now what we have done so far, right? Okay. So now I'm going to delete this portion because we have already got 14.4 and I am going to, instead of this, now this is going to be node A now, right? So the question is this, that when this is moving back here, right, and if you have this, it will move here. So node C, there is no value, so the only value that we are going to use is node B, right? So we are going to use this, that how much is the payoff? My payoff is 14.50, and you literally can't do anything at node B because that option, that feature is not with you because you have the European call option. Think about a situation if you have American, right? We will discuss that in our next video, that what if you were the holder of a American call options, can you do anything? And then there is another decision area that that you need to exercise. So that is the next course of the video that I'll be doing with you guys. So payoff is 14.40. What is the probability? Probability, there is no change, same. This is this. Then again, if you remember, node C, there is no value, so I'm going to write it as 0 and then I'm going to write it, and you must be wondering that why am I writing even this when I know the value. You will come to know about it only when we will solve one such question where you will see that we will use this also. So by that time, please ignore. And then down is E and 0.04. And how much is the time this time? I'm moving from this to this. So this means 3/12, right? So wait. This is the problem in binomial, that if you are not very much focused into it, it will make our whole work very dirty. It's a good piece of thing to solve on a whiteboard in class. Doing that digitally, I feel a bit challenge. Okay, so if you're going to simplify this, 14.50 as a payoff, you're going to get your answer as 7.25 divided by 1.01005, and if you simplify 7.25 divided by 1.01005, you're going to get your answer as 7.177, right? This is the answer that you have got. Now what is this answer? This answer is basically the value of A, right? This is the value here, which just now you have calculated. The whole thing, everything that what we were discussing is this one only, that what is the value of this contract today. So it is as good as that there are different features of a contract which is discussed here, and then you have been asked to tell me that how much should I be ready to pay for this contract. So you try and calculate the real theoretical worth or a theoretical value of this option to take your decision, right? So I'll again recap what all things that we have done here with. We are done with the binomial option pricing model for the multi-period. Here in this question, it was 6-month contract bifurcated into 3 plus 3. Based on that question, the first thing, write down the information. Second thing, draw your binomial tree. Third thing, take your decision that are you supposed to exercise or not. And please keep in mind that a call option is always exercised only when your spot rate is more than the strike price. So depending upon the decision, think about it, that how much is the payoff that you are getting. Once you have calculated the payoff, the fifth step is to calculate the probability. Okay, that's fine that you calculated the payoff, but that's completely projected. So you should also be telling me that how much in terms of that, what is the occurrence of an event, what is the likeliness of an event. So that's how you need to calculate the probability of upward and downward trend. After that, you need to calculate the value at different nodes, so that you will come to know about that what is the worth of it, right? So basically, if you look into it, it's 29.28. When you brought it back in at node B, you are using two information. The first information was that how much is the likeliness, the probability, and the discounting that you have done this to is the risk-free rate of return for that period that you have applied over it, right? So that's that you have used 4% for 3 months, and therefore you have got one value at node B, which is 14.50. Now there is no point, people may tell you, or you may have this question in your mind, that why are we stopping at node B when we are not supposed to do anything, because it's an European option. Why there's no point stopping in between. The only thing is this, that I always try and maintain some sort of an uniformity when I do derivatives, be it options or be it any of the different topics of the financial derivatives course. I always try and maintain the uniformity, because if the students are very well conversant with a uniform method of the valuation, he will not find any problem in terms of valuing the same thing if it is an American. Then that you will get to understand when we will do the valuation of the American option, because there is slight change in the method. That's it. Everything remain unchanged, right? So this 14.50, again we have to further discount it for another 3-month period using the probability, the same probability, because there is no change in the probability, and therefore we have calculated the value of this contract, which happens to be 7.177, right? So that's how this value it's all about. It was a big question. There are few information that I have already erased. Hopefully you were with me. In case if you have any questions related to it, in case if you didn't understand something, please encourage yourself to post questions. If at all any student who are not well conversant with the English and we really wanted the video in Hindi, please keep me posted. That's the only language that I know. So other than English, so I can help you out, guys, in terms of my Hindi videos as well. Therefore, help us in sharing. Please do like, subscribe my video. Thanks a lot, student. Thank you.